Today we will be discussing Apple Device Management with Ivanti. My name is Yosune Baltra. I'm a product manager for the UEM team here at Ivanti. I've been working with these products for almost 10 years now, and I'm focusing right now on everything that is Apple Device Management and Windows, everything that is desktop. But as you know, today we are here to discuss Apple Device Management. We have a packed agenda for today. Of course, we're going to go over a little bit about everything that is Ivanti UEM overview, what are our offerings, and what the focus is. And then we're going to dive into Apple Device Management, going through Apple Declarative Device Management, which is something that everybody's talking about, the new software updates, features that are very important. And I know that it will be very helpful for you managing your software updates. Then we have new supported platforms, so lots of innovations. Day zero support for some of the critical features that you've been asking for in iOS 18 and macOS 15. And then we have more innovation regarding return to service, and then macOS application patch catalog and how we are managing that. All right. So first we have some polls for you to understand where you're coming from and to understand what is that you're looking for. If you can quickly answer the poll here, what brings you today to this webinar? All right, excellent. Okay, more answers are coming. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for answering. All right, I see. Okay, so we have a lot of you that are trying to manage everything, and that's great. That's exactly what our platform can do. All right, should we go to the next poll? So now this is what we want to know. Are you currently managing with Ivanti your Apple device management, your Apple devices? Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for answering. All right, just a little bit of Ivanti and our focus. As you know, this is a big theme for us, the everywhere work. And when we talk about everywhere work, we're not thinking only about the geolocation, right? When the pandemic came, we were thinking, okay, we are working from everywhere. We have to be remote. Everybody went back home. But in reality, the everywhere work, it's around all the different aspects of the use cases and the organizations. So we're thinking not only everywhere geolocation, we're thinking everywhere and devices, as we will discuss today. And everywhere in the organization, we have connected warehouses, retails, point of sales, hospitals, everything. So everywhere work, now we need to think more than just the desktops in general and our iPhones. And that's where we are going, right? So we have built a platform that can help you cover all these use cases. And you'll see that as we go through this presentation, we're not talking about only our phones and tablets, but we're talking about a variety of use cases that involve these devices as well. At Ivanti, we have two main focus, right? So all our products are focusing on the endpoint and risk management. And on the other side, the service and asset management. Right? These are critical features that our customers are looking for. And you see, we have a breadth of devices here, products and solutions that can help you with that. However, today we are here to discuss UEM, right? So I'm not going to talk about all of that. We're going to dive into Apple Device Management, focusing on the UEM solution that will help keep your end users productive and the data and your devices are secured and in compliance, right? We're going through all the different stages of managing a device. That is the onboarding, authentication, OS upgrades and patching, application management and patching as well. And of course, secure connectivity and data loss protection features, right? So this is the breadth of what you will be discussing today. Just a quick overview. These are the different products that are involved in our solutions for you. So we have solutions for the device management, everything that it's Apple related, focusing on all the different platforms. As you know, we support all Apple devices. On the other side, we have the data access and authentication management. So we have other solutions that help and complement the management of the platforms. Then we have a third-party app management for macOS that I'm going to discuss a little bit at the end of the presentation. and then the endpoint security and DLP solutions that we have on the devices when we have our secure productivity apps to keep all the data secure in your devices. And of course, we have also MTD, that is the way to have local actions and the threat defense on the devices. And this is not only for, as you know, not only for Apple devices, but we can also manage all the other OS as well. So we're going to start with what we came here for, right? Apple device management. And we're going to start with declarative management, as is the big change that Apple introduced in 2021. And they've been adding more and more features to it, right? So it's not a one and done solution. Apple has been improving in every release with every OS. There are new features that come with declarative management. So what is declarative management? Just a brief overview. You may be already aware, but just an overview to start the conversation. This is an enhancement to the MDM protocol, right? So it is not a whole replacement today. It needs to sit on top of the MDM protocol. And what we're going to do in our platform, as you will see, is slowly start adding all the different declarative management features, right? And we are trying not to disrupt your experience today. So it is just a back-end solution, right? The experience for you should remain the same. And we're going to make the changes in the backend for you to leverage. So the good thing about declarative management is now it allows for proactive responses on the status changes on the device. Before, we had to wait for the server to make some evaluation, but now the responses are on time because they come directly from the device. So I'm going to just talk about a bit more about that to make it more clear. So when we had the MDM protocol flow, the evaluation of the configurations and everything came on the server side, right? So we had the device check-in, and then the MDM, the server would say, there is something new on the device. And then it will apply something that has been configured for it, right? However, with declarative management, everything changes back to the device itself. So now we're able to push a configuration that would sit on the device, and the device will wait for it to be activated. It will know when there is a change that needs to be done. The great thing about this, it's also local actions without internet, because the device will know when to change, when to apply something, right? With this comes something very interesting, and this is something that I recommend that you learn, because this will change the part of the workflow. And it's the predicates. You don't need to use them. We've made it very easy for you to just continue using the platform the way it is. But if you want to leverage predicates, I recommend that you look at the documentation for Apple and understand how it works. Because predicates are a logical condition that you can add to your configurations. So the device itself will evaluate the condition before applying it to the device. For example, if you want a configuration specifically to be applied when the battery is at 80%, then the predicate can determine that, right? So it will sit on the device. It won't need to go back to the server and see that if the device has already 80% of battery to apply it. It will automatically wait for that level of 80% or more and apply the configuration with the predicate. So the predicate will have an attribute, an operator, and a value, right? Like I said, for example, battery equals or greater than in a value, right? How do we create these predicates? Predicates are done in Cocoa language, right? So it's the Apple Cocoa programming language, and there is Apple documentation on it, and you can read about that. And in our platform, this is how you will be leveraging it. So we've added a new tab. So you go to admin, you go to Apple, and you'll find a new tab that it's called predicates. And the predicates, you will be able to create a predicate and just reuse them in any of the configurations that are declarative management supported. right? So you create here your predicate, you save it, and then when you go to a configuration that is declarative management supported, you'll see a new bottom section that you can leverage predicates. It says, if you see here, enable or activate with predicates. You don't need to use them, and the configuration will be applied immediately. But if you want a predicate, you want that conditional enablement of the configuration, you can leverage the predicate that you already created. You will see a drop-down, and you can add several predicates to the configuration. So as I mentioned, more documentation. There is plenty of Apple documentation and how predicates work. And on the other side, we also have a knowledge base article in our community that will explain which are the configurations that are already supported with declarative management. So all these configurations are already supported, and you will see the activate with predicate section in the distribution piece of our configuration. All right, so that's an introduction for declarative management. And moving on, this is the biggest declarative management configuration that Apple has released, right? So I have another poll for you. Please, have you used this configuration already? Are you familiar with it? The software enforcement updates that comes with declarative management. Okay, so we see people that are not familiar. Great, because that's what we're going to discuss today, and we will go through it. Perfect. Thank you so much. There we go. So I just added the 2.0, so it's clear that we are not talking about the legacy software update configuration, right? The software update configuration in declarative management has two pieces, right? So you will see that last year it was released from the IT administrator side, so you can configure this software updates. But this year, and this is also part of the iOS 18 and macOS 15 day zero support, but I mention it here because it's part of the software updates. You have a way to control the end user experience as well. So what is the great thing about this configuration? So this configuration, as it says in the title, you can enforce a software update. So let's say we have Sequoia, it just came, it needs to patch some vulnerabilities, and you want all your end users to quickly update to this new version. Usually what happens is that the end user keeps deferring, they don't want to reboot, it just, it interrupts their day. So they never get to upgrade to the latest version that has the patch for the security advisories, right? This new configuration, you can see it's already there. So in our platform, software update enforcement, you're able to set up a date, a time, and the specific version that you want your devices to be upgraded to. And how will this work? It will automatically, on that date and time, apply the patch or the upgrade that you're looking for. So just a mini demonstration here. Same as before you will ask the device to check in and see if they needed a new software update. But now you will be able to push to the device the OS version that you wanted to upgrade, and then the date and the time as well. So the device itself will see when this date and time is done. So, when the deadline comes, and will automatically reboot and apply the upgrade. You don't have to, you don't need your end users to do anything, right? It's automated and it's on the local time of the device. So you can set it in after hours, at night, or whenever it works for your business case, right? So when the deadline comes, the device starts upgrading and will proactively send communication to the server to communicate its status. It will tell the server if it's in progress, if it's downloading, and also if it failed or if it was successful. And the great thing is now we can even have a status of what is the failure, if in case there's a failure. So you will be able to see that on the device logs. And now this is from the IT side, right? So we want to know what will the experience for our end users. Apple released this year a new way to configure that end user experience. So we have all the settings that we can configure for this configuration, right? The software update settings, you can configure what are the recommended cadence, when when the update is going to show up for the end user to upgrade, because they can also upgrade it manually, right? If you let them see the upgrade, right? And how will it show? So this is on the left-hand side, you see how it will show when you set up the deadline for your end users. They will see what is the OS version that will be upgraded and the deadline. And they can also go in your macOS, will be on the right-hand side, also the same thing. What is the version that it's coming and what is the deadline, right? So your end users will have plenty of communication of when this is coming, because the next piece is the communication. The configuration itself will have some notifications for the end user, right? You can control these notifications, but the default is that it will start 14 days prior to the deadline, sending a daily notification to the end user, asking them to upgrade at their own convenience because there is a deadline. And at the deadline, it will automatically just reboot and apply the patch, right? So you can configure this to have only the last piece of the notification, so the same day. Let's say if you're in a point of sale situation, maybe you don't want the 14 days notifications, right? So you want just to let them know that the last 60 seconds that the device will reboot, and that's it, right? So there is also a past due solution. If for some reason the device was off, then it will get a past due notification and the update will be rescheduled automatically for another hour. So I encourage you to test it. I know it's a great solution and most of our customers are very happy with it. Happy to hear feedback, send us ideas through our Ivanti Ideas portal if there's anything that we can help with. All right, moving on. New supported platforms, as you may have heard, last year was the first time that Apple announced Apple Watch Management. We know that many of our customers have use cases where they use the Apple Watch, they're in the field, they want quick communication with their customers, so they're required to have some communication secured via the Apple Watch. So you'll find this configuration now, where you can enable the Apple Watch enrollment. The Apple Watch enrollment, it acts as a pair with the iPhone, right? So you need to push this configuration to the iPhone first, and then link or pair the watch to it for the remote management to start. So all the configurations that are supported for Apple Watch that you push to your iPhone are going to pass automatically to the watch as well. So they communicate in the remote management, right? Some other things, this is only supported starting iOS 17. It was released last year. And also the watchOS 10 Plus, also the watchOS version released last year. And these are some of the configurations that we currently support in commands as well. So you can lock the device, you can clear a passcode, you can require a passcode, you can apply all the restrictions to keep your communications via Apple Watch secure. The next platform that it was released last year, of course, is the Apple Vision Pro. And this is something that we are also supporting since this year. So we are excited about this. We are hearing very interesting use cases. The Vision Pro can be enrolled like any other device via ADE, or known as DEP, and then also via the user enrollment and account-driven enrollment, right? So it doesn't need something extra as the Apple Watch that it needs to be paired to the device. This is just another device that can be enrolled via DEP, as I mentioned, ADE, or with a managed Apple account. You can enroll via the account-driven enrollment. Some of the configurations, there are many configurations that are supported today for Apple Vision Pro and some commands as well. So looking forward to hear more use cases and how you are working with your Vision Pro, and happy to help if you have any ideas as well. Moving on to our iOS 18 and macOS 15 updates. I'm not going to cover everything because there are many features that came, but I just want to cover Apple Intelligence because I know this is one of our main concerns of our customers. As you know, Apple announced Apple Intelligence. It hasn't been released yet, but announced that it's coming now in 18.1. And also specific for some devices, not all devices are Apple Intelligence capable. So they will be only available for the iPhone 15 Pro, of course, iPhone 6 Plus, and the iPads with M1 processor and the macOS with silicon chips. Right. So what I want to mention here is I know some customers have concerns and how this Apple Intelligence will leverage your data. And that's why Apple released some configuration on the restrictions to be able to block this or restrict these features, right, until you feel comfortable to release them to your end users. So we are already supporting that as a day zero support. And we hope this helps with your use cases. And as we know, it should come out maybe next week. I think October 28th is the rumored date for this release. Okay, next feature. This is a great innovation that came specifically from our point of sale and healthcare space in general. You may have heard that last year, Apple released something that it's called return to service, when the device can be completely wiped and re-enroll automatically into ADE again, right? So this is already implemented in our console. If you go to any device, you go to the wipe and you'll see the option to return to service, right? Now we've added this in our Go client. Why? Because some customers, they need to quickly repurpose the devices on the floor. When they are on the floor, they need to pass, for example, the device from one patient to another. They don't have time to be calling the admin. Can you wipe it? Can you re-enroll it? So now with this feature, it's a one-click button. You go to the Ivanti Go troubleshoot, and then you'll be able to do this return to service. And it will automatically wipe clean the device and re-enroll and get the device ready and provisioned for the next use case, or the next patient, or the next store, something that you will need. It has some requirements, of course. The device is supervised, needs to be enrolled in ADE. The Ivanti Go client needs to be managed. And this doesn't appear by default in our Go client. You need to apply the Manage Apple Config, KVP of return to service enabled, right? And it's only available for iOS and iPad 17 Plus, as it was released last year. So you see here, this is a screenshot of our console and how you would apply the Manage Apple Config to the Go client. And last but not least, the macOS applications updates. So today, as you know, updating macOS applications is very seamless if you are managing macOS store apps. But we know that that's not reality. There are hundreds of other applications out there that are not on the macOS store. So we understand that our customers are going through many cycles trying to update those applications, going through the different websites. Is there a new patch for this or that application? Sometimes you miss the CVEs. If there was a vulnerability, you have your own solutions and how to pull data from one site to another so you get notified, and it's very cumbersome, and it takes a lot of cycles, right? So we have a solution for that. And at Ivanti, we have a whole catalog of patches for those third-party applications that are not in the App Store. So how does it work? We have this catalog integrated in our console. In our Neurons console, you will see a list of all the applications that have a new update. And you can choose to push them to the devices and upgrade automatically from there all these applications. So you don't need to go side by side, going through your Chrome, your Teams, which is the latest application that has been updated. You can choose, select, or just set it to automatic, and it will go directly to your devices. This is the console, and you will see a list of I just did a filter of the last 60 days. You'll see a list of all the patches. The screenshot is not comprehensive, but if you go through the right, you'll see also the CVEs, if there is any vulnerability, any risk scores. So you have a good idea of what that update is bringing. And also you can configure it according to your needs, right? So we manage a number of applications in our catalog for that. You can go to Ivanti documentation and you'll find all these catalog apps and exactly what is the breadth for macOS. If you have needs of other applications, please submit ideas and we'll work on getting them supported as well. All right, so this is the end of the features that I wanted to discuss today with you. Just a quick reminder that our Ivanti UEM solution covers all the needs for your effective fleet management and security, from device management, application management, OS management, as we discussed today. And of course, we have other secure productivity solutions. One is the secure access to the cloud applications and how you are accessing your drive, your box, etc. We have solutions for compliance and DLP and the secure connectivity as well. And we also have resources to make the best of your Ivanti solutions with architects that can help you set up the best solution. You have professional services or support, and of course, our customer success team is always happy to help you with everything that is needed for your success in our deployments. And documentation, of course, we have a very extensive product documentation that is publicly available for you. Thank you. Any questions?
We have a few questions in the chat, Yuzina. Do we support platform SSO in macOS for password sync and user creation at login?
Yeah, great question. Yes, we do support the macOS, the Apple platform SSO. Works. We are already supporting Entra ID and also Okta. So if you have any of those solutions, we will be happy to help you set up that. So reach out to your Ivanti team and we can help you with that. It will work for the password sync and also for the automated creation of users at login. Yes.
Wonderful, thank you. Next question, when will scripts in macOS be supported without the Mac agent?
Oh, all right. So that is a new feature, right, from Declarative Management. For those of you that don't know, in the latest releases for macOS, that is a new feature. So now we can manage the scripts but directly via MDM. So this is part of the Declarative Management solution. And as we are working through supporting assets, that is basically the last piece that we are working through the architecture and how to support it. We are targeting this for the Q2 next year. So we will have those for you that want to manage scripts and don't want to install an agent on the Mac device, that will be available for you.
Wonderful. And final question, how do we know when to migrate to Declarative Management?
All right. Yes, so great question. You don't need to do anything, right? So we will manage the backend for Declarative Management. This is a change that we will let you know that is happening. As you know, I showed a document where it's telling which configurations are already Declarative Management. You will see some indications in the platform that already have been, some configurations have already been migrated, because you will see the activation, as I mentioned, with predicates in the distribution page. We want it to be as seamless as possible for you, so you don't have to migrate to anything. but we will let you know how to, or which resources to read, what to pay attention to. For example, the predicates, that is one of the biggest change in the behavior for our IT administrators.
Wonderful. We've got just a couple more quick, just conscious of time. First one, can we leverage DDM in Ivanti Neurons if the device is not managed by Ivanti?
No, the DDM is a specific MDM feature. So
Great.
you have to have the device enrolled in the Ivanti Neurons MDM to leverage the software updates. Yes, and all that.
And final question, enrolling Apple Watch to Ivanti, does this only apply to supervised devices or does it work for BYOD users too?
It needs to be a supervised device.
It does need to be a supervised device.
Yes.
Brilliant.
For the configuration to apply.
Yeah. Fantastic. That's all of our questions. Thank you, Izina.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. And as I said, any ideas, any comments, please feel free to log into Ideas Portal and let us know. Thank you.